There's got to be a deeper way of doing this. If you ever came into my apartment from 22 years old on, I always had 3, 4 of these things on the shower wall, everywhere. I had it on my wallet, I had it on my speedometer, my car, I had it in my office, I had it on my computer. I had it literally taped up everywhere, these affirmations, and I would read them. But I wanted to take it to a whole different level, and here's what happened.
Over time, there has been a long, drawn-out debate to whether or not affirmations actually work, or are we just blowing smoke? Truth be told is that some of the most successful people on this planet have identified that positive self-talk and how they express themselves have been a true component in how successful they are. Let's explore together if affirmations is something that you can utilize today to start changing your mindset in regards to money and just your overall life, and in killing some of those limited beliefs that you have. Before we get started, let's try to get this video to 1,000 likes so this can get out to more and more people. Let's expand that reach, right? And the second part to that, it's about 85% of the people that watch these videos on my channel, which is dope, are not subscribed to the channel. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we post, so we can keep growing this thing together. All right, let's get into it.
I am awesome. I am great. I am going places. I'll stop. You ever done affirmations in the middle of it? You kind of listen to yourself saying, I can't do this anymore. This is very, very weird and awkward. We're going to talk about a complete different strategy for affirmations you've never heard of before that will absolutely work for you. So before I get into the episode, if this is your first time visiting this channel, this is the #1 channel on YouTube for entrepreneurs. If you've never subscribed to the channel, please do so. We got a lot of different videos, over 1,000 videos on how to raise money, how to hire, how to fire, how to scale. A lot of cool interviews, mafia interviews, Mark Cuban interviews, Kevin Hart, Kobe Bryant, many different interviews you can watch here as well. Again, if you haven't subbed, please do so. Let me get right into the episode. Daily affirmations. So I want to share with you openly what I have here. A couple things you got to keep in mind. How I came about with affirmations is an evolution. So for me, when I first got out of the military and I went into sales, my sales manager told me, Pat, you got to have some affirmations. It's very good. Then I started reading books and everybody said affirmation, 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 right? And the whole idea about affirmations is what? Because to compensate for all the years that your parents rejected you, or you growing up, you were rejected. And there's a book called
So that's the reprogramming the mind aspect. You know, think of your mind as a computer software. And it's not to say that our parents or our teachers or our religious leaders or anyone in that fashion purposely done wrong by us. However, there are beliefs that are essentially imprinted on us as we grow, and that mindset creates that having money is bad, or or have people with money are inherently they're bad people. You've done some wrong to get the amount of money you have, etc. These are all beliefs, or the belief I'm not good enough to have money. You know, there's a lot of us that look at people and say, oh man, they make this kind of money, but subconsciously to themselves, they're saying, hey, they can make that kind of money. I can't have that kind of thing. Or it doesn't even necessarily have to be money. It could be anything. It could be relationships. It could be health. It could be just an overall sense of happiness and security and joy. These programs that we are essentially put on us in childhood or these younger stages have an impact on us as we grow. And they become essentially the program that we consistently run throughout our lives.
The genius in all of us. And in the book, the author talks about how lower income families, kids have been rejected 600,000 times from 0 to 18. Then it says middle income families from 0 to 18 have been rejected 100,000 times, meaning 100,000 more negatives than positives. And upper class family children have 100,000 more affirming, positive statements than negative statements. That's in the book, and The Genius of All of Us. We'll put the link below if you want to buy the book. It's a good book. Now,
before you started, and some of that, comparing those stats when you think of lower socioeconomic status and those higher, think of Maslow's hierarchy needs. Survival is the number one. If we're in the lower socioeconomic status, the thing that we're thinking about is survival. So you know it's not purposely that those particular families or parents are essentially teaching their kids this lower state, but they're not in a higher state so that they can give their kids, and this is not all families. So we don't want to generalize this state or this experience. Rather, that that is the overwhelming number. Is when you are in a lower socioeconomic status, your number one priority is survival. So you hadn't reached that level of self-actualization, so that you can see how you can leave a positive imprint on your children and things of that nature.
so you have, if some of you, if you were raised in a low-income family, like I'm a welfare kid, parents got a divorce, you don't hear a lot of positive, oh, you can get them, oh, you can get this, and you can do that. That's not the environment. So I started collecting all these affirmations. I mean, I can tell you, I literally have an entire folder here and here with affirmations. I mean, I would go to a piano store. The one I'm looking at right now is the 4 surefire rules for success. Show up, pay attention, ask questions, don't quit. I'd go and get affirmations from restaurants. The winner is always a part of the answer. Attitude. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Persistence, my daily affirmations. Here's one of them, very basic ones. I have a positive attitude about everything. I will always be respectful. I'll be the best speaker ever. I'm a great speaker. I will touch many people's lives before I leave this planet. I will read this 3 times a day. I'm the greatest miracle on the planet. I have never and will never be a normal person. I will persist until I succeed. I have a great body and physique. I make everyone happy around me. This is
the only thing that I would change to some of those, and some of those are in the present as if it's happening right now, and some of them, I will be a great speaker. No, I am a great speaker. I am working on becoming a great speaker. That is in the process of, and I am great. We want to start bringing those affirmations to the present moment and not in a distant future, if that makes sense.
This is my affirmation at 21 years old that I have to say. 19 years ago, I have it. And by the way, again, I can go through a bunch of them here, okay? So, but as I'm going and doing this, one day I told myself, there's got to be a deeper way of doing this. If you ever came into my apartment from 22 years old on, I always had 3, 4 of these things on the shower wall, everywhere. I had it on my wallet. I had it on my speedometer in my car. I had it in my office. I had it on my computer. I had it literally taped up everywhere, these affirmations, and I would read them. But I wanted to take it to a whole different level, and here's what happened. So, on a flight back once from Chicago, I started writing things down, and I started kind of taking an inventory of this guy's life, okay? So it was very simple. It was, Pat, what were the 5 most painful times in your life? Okay, most painful, and I started writing them down. The time you almost lost your dad, okay? The time your girlfriend and you and her were going to get out of the army, and you called back and she got into a car accident and she passed away. She's 20 years old, okay? Monica. The time, you had to say goodbye to your dad in 1989, airport, Iran, while we're going to Germany, and my dad gives me a hug. My sister and my mom are right behind me. We go on the Lufthansa flights. The last time I saw my dad for 1.5 years, 2 years. Very difficult for me, but I remember that. So I wrote these things. I'm not going to tell you all of them. There's a lot of them. It's more than 5, but I wrote these things down, and it was painful. And I have to think about it a little bit, and it was painful. And I ranked them. So that was 5 right there. Then it's writing out 5 most successful moments of your life. When did you win? You know what's interesting? Today I was talking to one of my consultants, and I'm talking to the guy, and I said, I want you to tell me 3 times in your life where you won and you were absolutely amazed with what you did. Here's what he said. He says, let me get back to you on this one. The man is 45 years old. He said, let me get back to you on this one. He couldn't.
Most of the time, we highlight that, especially we have to start thinking, becoming very responsible with not only our language that we speak, but the thoughts that we have, because some of our successes we undermine and we don't pay any attention to those. But some of our, most of our failures, we highlight those. We stay focused on those. We pay so much attention. And remember, where attention goes, energy flows. where attention goes with intention, energy flows. So if I'm only paying attention to the negative things, then ultimately all the positive things that I'm actually experiencing become super small and I don't acknowledge them. So again, we want to highlight our positive experiences. We want to be able to identify those things and pay attention to those things because ultimately it brings a level of positivity within us.
Think about it in that moment. Why is that? Very simple why that is. Because our mind is filled with layers and layers and layers and layers of memory that's filled with so much juice that we never tap into. Think about it this way. Your computer you have in your house. Can you tell me every file you have in your computer?
No.
Can you tell me every Excel spreadsheet you got? Every Microsoft Word
Can tell you the important ones.
You got? Every PowerPoint. Can you tell me every file, every image, every video, every music, every recording you've ever done? Can you tell me all of that? Could you tell me that? No. But if you unpack your computer, you ever done that when you go certain documents? You're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I wrote this 9 years ago. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I wrote this 8 years ago. And it starts reminiscing and produces a certain emotion, right? Mm-hmm. The mind is just like that, except 100 times more powerful because it's not logic, it's emotion. But because we don't tap into it, we don't know how to bring that juice out. So stay with me here. 5 most painful, 5 most successful moments, 5 most painful statements. So moments are different than statements. Moments are someone died. Statements are, you will never do anything big with your life, ever.
So that's if you and you'll see down here, I have a link to our 30-day journal. And if that's something you want to start working on, overcoming some of your limiting beliefs and start reprogramming your mind, that's something you want to get into. But when we think about that, we want to become aware of our negative states. What is the language that we're actually using? There are so many people that I work with from day in and day out that believe that they use positive language, and when you get to talking and you start bringing that to their attention, like, I can see how that can be negative. And they're subtle. They're subtle languages. And a lot of times we say these things in joking manner. Even in joking manner, hear me clearly, even in joking manner, do not say something negative about yourself. I don't care if it's about your finances, it's about your relationship. You can be honest, but you don't have to say anything negative. But by identifying those 5 statements that he's saying, it's bringing them to our awareness.
Do anything big with your life, okay? Never. Our MVP, the company we announced a few weeks ago in Las Vegas, he was told that in 2008 by his former mentor. He told him, you will never do anything with your life. He remembers it till today.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a way that...
I got a teacher right now. Now, she's gone. But in high school, she told me, she said, Chris, you will never be blank. Chris, you will never be blank. And from that actually lit a fire under me more than anything. It didn't hurt me because I have this rebellious type of mindset where I would say, okay, bet I'm gonna prove you wrong. Let me know in the comments if any of you guys ever had an experience like that. But from that point on, when I started accomplishing things, going to college, I worked in the NBA, I started knocking down some milestones and some accomplishments. I would come back and see her. I wouldn't arrogantly say, hey, look what I'm doing. She would say, hey, Chris, what you been doing? And then I would just subtly tell her. With the intention in my mind was to prove her wrong. But ultimately, as the years went on, I had to prove myself right. Because that was coming from a negative experience. That was coming from a negative energy. And it wasn't sustainable. But sometimes those experiences, we could take those experiences and transform them into something positive, into a driving force. But there are so many of us that hear some things like that, and we believe those people because we don't believe in ourselves. And that's why I say it's so important that we overcome our self-limiting beliefs, because the outside world can tell us one thing, but if our beliefs are so negative, if we have negative self-belief, then they're just reinforcing our own beliefs, and then we can blame them. But the truth of it is how we feel about ourselves.
That produces juice for him if he ever needs to tap into it. It's one method of juice to tap into, right? So you got 5 phrases. What are the most 5 painful phrases that you write down? Okay, so far we got what? Painful moments, okay? We have successful moments. We have painful comments. And last but not least is moments where you felt untouchable. So what do I mean by this? Let me explain. Something happens in the family. It's crisis. They're trying to solve a problem. They come to you. You come into the room. Everybody's sitting there panicking. You say, have we thought about doing this? No. Have we thought about doing that? No. How about this? No. And you're very calm. Let me make a couple calls. Boom, 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 boom. Here's what I think we do. Have you guys thought about if we go first here, first here, first here? No. Here's what we need to do. We need to call this person, call that person, call this person. Everything's going to be fine. Okay? Everybody says, yes, yes. You make the call. Ba, 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 ba. All of a sudden, hour later, everybody was panicking. Everything's solved. In that moment, you get a feeling of 6 people in the room couldn't figure this out. 5 of them are older than me. I came and I led the family. I wonder what I can lead in my life. You have those, you know you have those moments. You're watching this. You're saying, I have those moments, Pat. I know you have those moments. But you don't take inventory. Go in here. Stay with me. We're still talking about affirmations. So watch this. Imagine I am your director. We're doing a movie together. You're playing Bobby. You're supposed to talk to Johnny. You do your role. You mess it up. Over. Take 2. Take 3. Take 4. Take 5. Take 6. Take 7. I can't stand it. You're not doing a good job. You can't get it. I pull you aside. I said, come here. I said, can I talk to you for a second? Yes. I said, do you remember the first time a girl broke your heart? Yes. What was her name? Mary. Okay. Do you remember when she ended up dating a guy who she started dating, and the first time you met the guy, you made eye contact, and he had a smirk on his face? He tried to control it to not smile, but he knew he's hooking up with your girl that you used to be with. And she shattered your heart because you know your girl told him about you on how she shattered your heart. Do you remember that look on his face? I do remember the look on his face. See that guy right there, Johnny? That's your girlfriend's boyfriend. That's him. I want you to get in that state and then go do your lines. Yes? I'll give you a couple minutes.
Create a
Go
level
prepare,
of emotion.
Get mentally there, come back. Please don't talk to anybody. When you do come back, you're going to play Bobby. You're no longer you. You're Bobby. Yes? Yes. Please go. And I want you to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper with additional things that was said and happened that can produce more juice. Go get them. And you step away. Then you come back. You talk to Johnny. Johnny's shivering because he really believes that you believe you're Bobby. What Johnny doesn't know is you purposefully went to a state in your life that you remember the boyfriend that your girlfriend was dating. And then, boom, you're in that state. That's what great actors do. What great actors do is they have an arsenal of stories and moments in their lives that they tap into. This is why some of the best actors in the world were former military, former this, their parents got a divorce, mom was an alcoholic or dad was an alcoholic. The more stories that they have, the more they can get into that moment. The same goes with business as well, by the way. So think about it right now. You're about to go give a speech. You're about to go into an appointment. You're kind of nervous because it's a big appointment. So if you just go into the appointment, you're not going to be as effective as you sitting there saying, this is a big appointment, Johnny. But let me tell you something. It was December 2nd, 2003, when I walked into the meeting with the family. Nobody had any idea how to handle the situation. I did. If I handled a complicated situation like that in our family that had to do with a loss of a loved one, I can close this deal today. Let's get into that state, Johnny. Then you get into that state. Then you get into that state. Then you walk into the appointment, and you're a whole different human being. That little conversation with yourself changes your state. Now, by the way, some people will say, well, Pat, you mean to tell me people really do this stuff? Yes. So now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I was creating my neurofeedback business while I was working out, and that's another hidden gem. When you're doing something such as working out, something energetic, you're essentially producing, when you're working out, it's a natural antidepressant. You're producing these neurochemicals, dopamine, serotonin, all these neurochemicals is firing off in your brain. And a lot of times we listen to something that's headbanging, whether it's hip hop music, rock and roll, whatever choice of music we enjoy. But what I like to do is listen to affirmations. I like to listen to motivational speakers, especially when I'm trying to create something. But at this particular time, I was creating my neurofeedback brain training company or business. And I didn't have any clients. I didn't even have the equipment. But the statement that I would say to myself as I was working out, I am the best sports performance neurotherapist, United States of America. I am the best sports performance neurotherapist, United States of America. I would just repeat that over and over until it became a state of belief. And um, or not a state of belief, excuse me, a state of knowing. I just said that over and over. And what he's actually saying is the problem with affirmations is that we're blindly saying them. We're just saying them, I want to be wealthy. But we don't believe that. We have to say them with conviction. We have to believe that it's possible. Start with something small. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter what you're manifesting or what you're affirming. You have to get into a state of belief. But the thing is if you're trying to manifest a cup of coffee, you believe you can manifest a cup of coffee because it's in your realm of belief. But there is an unlimited amount of things within your realm. You just have to get into the knowing. I believe that it was possible. So anything that I want to create in my life, I just get it in a state of knowing. For example, again, my YouTube channel, I don't even think about it. I just know for a fact at some point, it will be one of the top YouTube channels. And I love the way he affirmed himself. He said the best YouTube channel for sales, entrepreneurship, and all those other things that he stated. That was an affirmation that he proclaimed. And he may not be the best. You may have never heard of him, but he's affirming that. And the right people is going to find him, just like you have found this video. Does that make sense?
Now let's go back to affirmations. Basic level affirmations is what? You're awesome, you're great, you're amazing,
Basic.
You're this, you're that, you're this. It's still effective. It's still good. I'm not taking anything away from it. I have a hard time with hokey affirmation stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, as long as you said you're going to do great stuff. I know so many people that do affirmations that does nothing for them, right? Here's why. Let me give you the second part of affirmations. Here's how it works.
Here you come.
So the first part of the affirmation is the statement. I am a great leader, okay? The first part of the affirmation is I will make a great comeback. I will make a comeback story. That's great. I will make a great comeback. That's great, but it's not at the highest level. It's at the highest level when you follow up and you say, I will make the greatest comeback story because I'll never forget what happened when my mother died. Because I'll never forget what happened when such and such a relationship didn't
Create a
work
level
out.
of emotion.
Because I'll never forget when I filed bankruptcy and I lost everything. Because I'll never forget when I lost my house and my car was repoed and I was...
When people are in a position, this is the thing that I don't really fully understand. Well, I do understand is because people get comfortable. When we are in a position where we have to sink or swim, we will swim or perish. I forget his name, but he talks about a story that that it was a group of soldiers that they wanted to take the island, and to take the island, they end up burning the boat. So it was either take the island or perish. So essentially they removed all the exit strategies. But what he's saying, he's creating a level of emotion. He's creating a level of negative emotion that works for some people. It's like, hey man, I remember this feeling. I never want to feel that feeling again. Never, not me. I never want to feel that feeling again. Right? I've been in those positions where I've had one piece of meat to eat for a while, or funds are extremely low and the lights are off. I've been in those experiences now, not for extreme amount of time, but even when I was in those states, it wasn't like poor me or why my life or this sucks. I was finding gratitude. I was finding the ability to focus my attention on the possibility. Right? So what he's saying is, hey, I will do this because of this.
22 years old, living on my friend's couch, and I made the sickest comeback. And I got my own house. I got $200,000 in the bank. I got this, I got this, I got that. I'm going to make the greatest comeback ever because I've done it before. I can do it again.
Facts.
That's an affirmation with weight behind it. That's what you need to be doing. So every time you have your list of affirmations that you add it with a story. So let me go back to it again. 5 things, right? 5 what? 5 painful moments, 5 successful moments, 5 painful statements, and 5 moments where you felt you were untouchable, the way you handled yourself. where you were untouchable, moments where you're like, I came through, it was a pressure type situation, I was calm, I handled it. So I'm sharing this with you with the affirmations. I'm going to put a PDF below for you to go out there and download to actually put the answers for yourself. So you can click on the link below. It'll be in the description section to get it. But I want to take it.
His link won't be in the description box. My link, 30-day transformation journal. Still powerful. In 30 days, change your life. You are going to identify and become aware of those negative self-beliefs. You are going to reframe them, and you're going to work on sustaining them along with practice such as visualization. That will be in the description box.
A level deeper with this as well. So, you know, what you have to understand as I'm going through this, I was doing a podcast yesterday, and a guy asked me a question, and he says, hey, Pat, I got a question for you. I said, what is it? He said, what gave you confidence to see that you can go and do what you're doing right now with your life? I said, it's interesting you say that. And I've never talked about this before, so I said, let me see what I can come up with. No preparation, nothing. I said, you know, it's funny, I don't know why, but one of them was, and this applies to a lot of people, you've experienced this before as well yourself, even if it's a glimpse. I don't know why, but I think number one is faith. He says, faith? I said, no, faith. What do you mean by faith? I think there's an element of me, you know, I've had glimpses of it where I felt like I was destined to do something special in my life. It's almost like a higher law is counting on me to come through and do something big. Mm-hmm. So faith was one of them. He says, interesting, what else? I said, faith is the second one. He says, oh, really? What do you mean by faith? I said, faith is, I don't know why, I feel like God, a higher spirit, has got my back. I don't know how to explain it to you. It's as if, think about you put Bruce Lee, the most scariest MMA fighter, UFC fighter, everybody, toughest guys in the world, they all have your back, and then multiply times 100. Imagine if you got that kind of backing. What kind of confidence would you have? I feel like I have that. So faith is one, faith is two. Number three is the following. And a lot of people don't do this. I got so clear on my vision, I told
a definite purpose. A lot of people say, oh, I want to make a lot of money. That was in our last video with Bob Proctor. You know, how much money you want to make? A lot of money. That's not enough. You don't know exactly. You need to know exactly. Be so clear with the vision. Be so clear. Again, I am the best sports performance neurotherapist in the United States of America. That was extremely clear. I knew what that looked like. I can create a vision of that picture in my mind before. When I say, when my goals or my affirmations are too broad, again, you're going to get that type of experience back. You need to get them clear. You need to be clear what you want. And so clear that, you know, and they can be as crazy or as ambitious as you want them to be. They just need to be clear.
Everybody about it, then the right people showed up out of nowhere.
Facts.
Just accidentally, they started showing up because people now know what you're looking for. So faith, casting your vision. Here's what we're going to be doing, and this is why. This is our vision. Here's what we're looking for. People show up. And I said, last but not least is luck. And he says, luck, really? Not a lot of people like to talk about luck. I said, yeah, I believe luck is a part of it. So he said, You mean luck, like really getting lucky? Isn't it when people say, you know, I work hard, I don't get, the harder you work, the luckier, all this other stuff? I said, no. I said, I think I'm the luckiest person in the world. I really believe that, by the way. I really believe I'm the luckiest human being alive. When I tell you, I didn't believe this before. I believe it today. You know why? Because of these formulas. Because of these formulas. I did it so much with the formula I gave you that eventually this guy believes it. This guy believes it. This guy believes it. It's like pure confidence on the vision, on the clarity of it, and it produces this energy. Now, I know this may sound weird to some people, but I challenge you to do it. Here's my challenge for you. Go download the PDF below. Write down 5 most painful moments, 5 most successful moments, 5 most painful statements, 5 most untouchable moments, and then tie it with a list of your affirmations. I'm great. I'll make a comeback. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make that kind of money. I'm going to do this part. Tie it to that and do it for a month and see what happens to you. And by the way, I'll give you the last thing that I used to do. So I took all that stuff and I added my affirmations. Then I recorded a 6-minute audio. And I had my guy add music to it. I liked trance, lower level trance, not high beat, a little lower level trance. And I put that together. It was the trance song of Braveheart, you know.
Probably listened to it as he was going to sleep. The brain is in a highly suggestible state when you're going to sleep. It's called alpha theta. Look up the research. Alpha theta state. You can suggest things in this state. Here's another nugget. Your brain goes into this state 2 times in a day naturally as you're going to sleep. And the first thing you do when you get up in the morning. That's why some of us, when the first thing we do, we get in the morning, we start scrolling on these things. What we want to do is start affirming to ourselves whatever we're clearing. That's why we want to write them down. You can have them right by your nightstand. Soon you get up in the morning, start reading them. As soon you go to sleep, right before you go to sleep, read them and create a visualization as you fall asleep. So your brain is essentially ruminating on these positive affirmations that you're creating for yourself, very detailed, direct to you. And then when you get up in the morning, read them. That's probably what it's going to say. But let's see. Let's just see. Talk about the music.
The Braveheart trance. Just like this. And I put my affirmations for 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And I recorded it. And I said, Pat, you're going places, buddy. Here's why. Do you remember that one time what happened? Here's what you did. Do you remember that? I know you remember that day. So you got this. And I recorded this. And back then it was CDs. Because nowadays you can put it in your phone, listen to it. So a lot easier. Back then it was CDs. So I put it in my car. I put it in my office. I woke up to it. I worked out to it. I was driving, listening to it. I was sleeping to it. Everything. All over again. And then eventually it stuck. And this guy started believing it. Mm-hmm. You can do the same thing as well, but it takes a little bit of discipline and actually putting time into it for this to become a reality.
Yeah.
So
all work works.
PDF. I got 2 other videos I want you to watch. One of the videos I did years ago. Mario, I don't even know when this video was. I want to say 4.
I think we're about done. So this is what I want you to do. Very interesting video. I loved it, actually. I liked it a lot. So what I want you to do is to go down, hit the link in the description box and get our 30-day journal and then start working through that, right? Start working through that so that you can first become aware of your limiting beliefs, because before that affirmations can actually work, we have to first figure out what's going on with our own personal belief system on why we can't have these things. So it doesn't matter what type of affirmations you create for yourself. If you don't believe them, if you don't get into a state of knowing that this is real, it will not happen for you. It will not happen for you. But once you get into the state of knowing that it's real, it will happen. But the first thing we have to do is find out what are the limiting beliefs that's stopping us from achieving the success that we deserve. Do me a favor, like this video, share with a friend, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, put that notification bell on, because we're going to be dropping this type of content consistently. Year 2025 is up for everybody. All right? It's up for everybody. Peace.
Get hotter in the summer, yeah. Hotter in the summer. The winter don't stand no chances. Hotter in the summer.